We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more because we have an appointment with destiny.
Welcome back to the show, people.
Was
our mics on?
Thankfully, the mics were not hot for that one. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. Thank you, as always, to the California Army National Guard. It is awesome to have Bode DeSilva from Scorebook Live back here in person. He's that one. That one's David Ring from DR Player Development. That one's Bode DeSilva from Scorebook Live. Scorebook Live, the official digital content provider of all things, everything, and in all things, everything, and Scorebook taking over. And I'm going to just make sure here my audio levels are okay. Bode, since we last spoke to you on this show, both in terms of season-to-season baseball-wise and just in terms of like talking to you on the show a couple weeks ago around basketball finals, you have been anointed as Scorebook Live's primary national baseball reporter. Yeah. You are in charge of the company that is in charge of high school sports. You are now in charge of baseball at that company. So how the heck does that feel?
As I knock the mic off.
As you have to deal with a 47-cent microphone clip.
There's a lot of teams to keep track of, and it's a lot, but it's fun. Florida has been dominant this year, so they, I believe, have the top 4 spots in the country right now. But there's some California teams in there, and the way San Diego teams are playing early on, I know 4 of them are in the top 25 in the state, so it's not impossible that we don't see a California team or a San Diego team in the national top 25 here at some point.
Well, let's hope journalism be damned. You can just power through there and sneak one in, sneak help a brother out, sneak an LCC in the top 25 in the nation or something like that. We're going to get to some of those top 25s. We also got to introduce DR Player Development, David Ring. He is the doer of Dave's dingers. He is the bringer of all things Eric Hosmer to San Diego, so we can go from thanking him for that to blaming him for that. Dave, you've got dingers, you've got game balls, you've got a lot going on, but just in general, you've got some frustration with how little baseball has been played yet this season. Are we still in the it's too small to know sample size yet, or do we have a good feel with the top 10s?
Yeah, I think this week now we can see some of that shaping up. I mean, the term bringer of rain, who hit the dinger that brought all the rain?
Is this it? Well, I've wondered if because Josh Donaldson played in the north for so long, if this is kind of like global warming atmosphere, like
must have been like a Haferkamp bomb to the clouds that brought the rain, man. Jeez.
Hey, okay, yeah. So Jack, congratulations, you're getting clipped onto social media as being the one singularly responsible for blame Jack Haferkamp for the rain. All right, so let's do the top 10.
Let's do it.
Do you guys want to go 10 to 1? Well, you'll each do your 10, you'll each do your 9, or Bode, are you a 1 to 10, or do you only do power 25s now?
No, I'll go 1 through 10.
All right, so then let's do Bode. You do 1 through 10. David, you'll come after that with 10 through 1. Bode.
Yeah. So number 1, Granite Hills. I know they did take a loss earlier in this week, but they got a big game. Assuming that the weather stays good tomorrow, they're going to play Eastlake. That's a huge one. La Costa Canyon's there at number 2. Their one loss is at Granite, but I still think a lot of them. They returned so much from last year's team. And added Kalen Applefield, who has shown how good he is so far this year. Rancho Bernardo's there at number 3 for me. They're unbeaten. They have such a good history. This is a really good team. And they've got some really young guys, even a freshman, Nathan Bembenak. Hopefully I'm getting that name correct. Already 2 home runs. Eastlake's there at number 4. They're always in the mix, no doubt there. They're undefeated. And I think the biggest thing for me was their pitching, and they've shown the last couple games they've held their opponents to really low totals there. Saints is there at number 5. They did lose earlier this week, so that will likely change. Cathedral Catholic at number 6. A lot of hitters, really in all grade levels. I'm not too sure on the pitching, but so far they're up there. Christian's there at number 7. Scripps Ranch at number 8, they've probably been the surprise of the county for me there so far. They did lose earlier this week against Francis Parker. Torrey Pines there at number 9. They have some really good pitching. The hitting, I think, will come around, but as of this point is pretty unproven. And then Carlsbad's another unbeaten team that a little bit of a surprise. They've moved into the top 10, but they've got some guys too.
I would like to issue a public apology to Vaughn Major of Christian. I posted you as Vaughn Miller on our IG reel, and you took it in good nature, and I appreciate that, and I apologize, and I didn't want to just send it as a public apology. My bad. I would also like to put it on the poll at SD Prep Insider on Twitter, on Instagram is where you can find all of our show polls and interact with everything. Is, do you need offense if you have Peyton Rogers on the mound? I'd like maybe they will find a way to win.
You need a walk, a bunt, a wild pitch.
No, maybe they find a way to win a 0-0 game somehow, just because Peyton is that. Like, the other team was like, I get that
the tiebreaker is strikeouts.
Or just the other team goes, look, I get that we have held you to 0, but there's an even less likely chance of us scoring. So, all right, you win. Dave, your top 10.
Yeah, that kid Peyton Rogers throws chairs, man. Whoop. I mean, he's just sitting people down. I put Torrey a little bit higher because of that. I think they're going to start hitting. I mean, me and Bode were talking. They're a young group of hitters, but they do have a lot of guys that are able to put the ball in play. They're just getting a little big right now, from what I've heard. Maybe a little pull happy. So I expect them to fully calm down. My number 10 team, Scripps Ranch, like I said, a big surprise in the county, but they're really not surprising every year. They play scrappy baseball. They really come at you with good pitching and defense, and they play a lot of low scoring games. And like I said, they've been on top of a lot of those. Unfortunately, they lost to Parker. Talk about that in some game balls here. Cathedral's number 9 for me. Montgomery, I've got them at number 8. They've started at 5-0. They beat Cathedral earlier in the week. It was an impressive win. When you look at the box score, I mean, they really shut down Cathedral. Carlsbad, I've got at number 6. Saints at number 5. Torrey 4, Eastlake, RB, LCC, and Granite, similar to Bode. I don't think the top 4 are going to change anytime soon. These 4 teams are strong. It's going to be a real battle for the 5 through 10 right now, I think.
I would like to throw in that Madison has proved in this last week the hitting part exists.
Yeah.
And their pitching is not 100% where they want it to be season-wise, and it's not going to be because of some arms just not being available this year. So I'm not saying Madison should or shouldn't be a top 10 team, but their offense has showed that I think what a lot of us had circled as they should be. If that whole team is there, they're a good team this year. The offense is there. So if they can get half of that pitching,
well, yeah,
Madison's a top 10
and
team.
Jake Jackson, who's a guy at preseason All-State, has definitely not played and started the way he's wanted to so far. No doubt that he'll come around. And I think really impressively, his younger brother Ryan's had some good at-bats early on and proven that he's the next guy up. So.
Who was I on? Was I on with you when we were talking about? Maybe that was Aaron. But have had... maybe potentially this was probably an off-the-record conversation, but I'm fine spilling it on the record because I'm not going to disclose my sources, but have had people say that the younger brother is better at baseball than Jake.
Well,
by like
that's very impressive because we know how good Jake is. Yeah.
Yes, and I trust the source of who told me that enough to at least take it semi-seriously. So that would be dope.
Yeah, they've also got Zion Watson, younger brother of Xavier Watson, whose youngest brother, Zoan Watson.
Don't get me started there. We got middle school commits already.
LSU. He's going to be our next high school.
And Kingsley wants to point out all of them, the offspring of La Jolla High School's greatest alumni, E.J. Watson.
Right.
There you go.
Colorado State.
Glad we didn't mess
back.
any of those names up.
No. You can mess up the oldest kid's name. He went to Cathedral. Who cares? Top 10 or game balls? Or game balls or dingers? What do you want to go with first, Dave?
Let's do some game balls.
All right, let's talk about some game balls. Every week we like to shout out and highlight some of the best players from around the county in terms of just the things that we like about baseball, not necessarily in terms of any other metrics. Dave Ring, take it away.
Well, big win for the Francis Parker Lancers, man. They beat Scripps Ranch in a walk-off game, or a walk-off win. It was Diesel Hernandez. And yes, you got
Elite
the name right.
There. Yeah, I might have to do an all-name team
Diesel,
list at some point.
The guy is an absolute Mack truck. If you look at him, he plays football. The dude went 2 for 4, 2 RBI walk-off against Scripps. big win for them. They've struggled a little bit to start the year with some losses, but that was big momentum for them. Poway beat Ramona 10-0. A guy you're going to hear a lot about moving forward, Ryan Krapel. He was 4 for 4, two doubles. He's hitting .571. Arizona State commit. I highlighted him a lot last year. This guy's got a really sweet lefty swing. He's going to do really well at Arizona State. From what I can see, they're playing a lot of freshmen at Arizona State. You got Kian Vu, who's getting a chance to start. He's the Point Loma alum, freshman, getting a chance to start. That's what you want as a guy going to school. You want to know that you're going to get a shot. So I think he's going to do really well at the next level. Steel Canyon, they beat Saints. You got to give tip your cap to Brandon Jackal. He went 7 innings through 10 chairs. If you don't know what a chair is.
Second really good start for him this season, too. Yeah. He's definitely a lefty to watch. Senior, right?
Yep. Chair means you have to sit down after you strike out.
Are you trying to explain that to me? Because I have always said that.
Okay, just making sure for all the...
And a strikeout is when there's 3 strikes in the at-bat.
So, yeah, tip your cap. I mean, think about the lineup that he shut down. I mean, they've got MJ Sweeney. They've got Frankie Giacalone. I mean, these guys are dudes. So congrats to him. They're going to be hot if he keeps pitching like that. And Montgomery, like I said, beat Cathedral 6-1. I want to give a shout out to the guys that hit that game. Noah Solano 3 for 4, Aaron Herrera 3 for 3, and Jose Mendoza 1 for 2. These are the guys that got it all started for them. Montgomery seems to be another solid team this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the CIF finals again this year. I think this is going to be a good year for them. They started 5-0, like we said. They're in my top 10.
Montgomery really hasn't had like a bad season in the entire time.
Lost in the Division II title last year, and that was against a Canyon Crest team that was throwing Sam Garawal, which he beat the Open Division champ last year, too.
That's why I like them. I mean, they've played some really tough teams every year. They played in the CIF finals. They're going to just have guys that know what it takes to win, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is their year.
Can I also just one other thing about Montgomery, as I put it on the poll at SD Prep Insider on Twitter, on Instagram, to go check it out. In aggregate, is Montgomery kind of low-key the center of high school sports? I dare ask. Their girls basketball team won a CIF championship. Their guys basketball team was in a finals.
Yeah, first time in
Their
Open.
baseball team is in the top 10 conversation. There's not a lot of other schools that have that kind of athletic thing. So low-key Montgomery having a year. Bodie, I cut you off, though.
Yeah, no, I was just saying with Montgomery, they weren't in my top 10 to start the week. They beat Cathedral, so that'll obviously, if they can hold off the rest of the week, they will jump in next week. I've been really impressed.
We should also point out that this year the show is being recorded on Thursday. So a lot of times what Dave will come in here is an accurately reflected top 10 that was decided Wednesday night into Thursday, and Bodie's top 10 is a Monday top 10. So Bodie, this might be more of a, hey, update your top 10 opportunity.
I love it, though, because in baseball, so many of those top teams are scheduling each other, and we see these matchups. I know in football they're going to play lesser games, so you can't play everyone, but baseball, these teams are all in the top tournaments against each other to start, and I love what we're getting all the good matchups.
Well, and baseball forever is stuck with the or blessed by you're somewhat at the random happenstance of, or teams will line it up correctly that Braden Jekyll gets to throw against Saints, and then 2 days later, Steel Canyon might drop a question mark game where you're like, whoa, wait, they just beat Saints, and you're like, well, that's because that one specific matchup that they have is bleeping elite, and so it's a fun maze to try and navigate. Your game balls from this week, Bodie.
Yeah, I'll start off at Rancho Bernardo. Kevin Takuchi, he is signed with USC, has had a huge start to the season. 7 for 15, 2 homers, a triple, 2 doubles. This Rancho Bernardo lineup, I got to see them last week. I was really impressed. I'm going to switch over to some strikeouts now. I know we already mentioned Brandon Jackal, but I'll go full season so far. 15 and a third innings on the mound, 29 strikeouts. So anytime you're striking out 2 an inning, that is very good. Ashton McCurdy at Christian, 2 starts so far, 16 strikeouts, no runs in 11 innings. Really impressive numbers there. Zach Small up at Oceanside. Oceanside's not a school we always talk about with baseball, but I think they're going to have a good year. They have a win over Santa Fe Christian, and Zach just struck out 9 in a win over Canyon Hills. And then Garrett Gillum from University City, He's coming off a really impressive pitching performance. Struck out 8, or excuse me, that's from an old stat there. I will pull up the current one. Just struck out 13 against High Tech High in a 1-hitter in 5 innings. So some really good strikeout numbers. I know maybe the home runs aren't there across the county so far, maybe as it heats up. And selfishly, as someone who goes to a lot of these games, it was sunny at the game I was at Monday, and then the weather changed. So hopefully
That is not you being selfish.
hopefully
not
in
the
these
least.
next few weeks because not just sunny weather, but we need games to not be rained out. Too many rainouts so far. So
Well, no, but sunny weather also helps baseball
Yeah.
because it's just
it's how it should be.
the slightly muddy, but you threw enough of that dry clay to absorb, so you can play. And
Yeah,
the
and these
balls
fields
are
are
soaked and
not-
heavy.
Yeah, too
and
many of
it's
these
just
fields are
rain.
not ready to play. So
I mean, Grossmont's mound, it literally washed away. It
Yeah, no,
it went down the river.
I say it as what sounds like a punchline or setup to a joke. The baseball players, we need a perfect environment, but a football field, you can talk a little bit about a lineman having some issues, with a cleat and getting some real good elite level push on a block or whatever, but like physically a baseball will just absorb the water on the ground, and after a couple of ground balls, it becomes heavier. And this is not the major leagues where we can tear through 2 boxes of balls every single high school game. So they're just bound to be
Right.
balls that physically are not capable of flying the 300-something feet they need to go in order to be a home run. So, I'm 100% with you that we need the dry weather. We need our good baseball. It is our primary addictive thing that we love is the high school coverage. So Daddy needs good baseball.
and as a reminder, people who have seen a baseball game at Westview, don't park near the stadium. That car
Same
alarm
with
was going
Parker.
off for way too long the other day. When you're going to get 15 foul balls in that area, you're just chancing it with your windshield. So.
Yeah, Westview, just park at the front. Just park at the front parking lot on the far side of the football stadium. You will be safe there. It will be an inconvenient walk to get to the baseball field, but you will be
It's gonna
safe
same
there.
for Mira Mesa. Marauders got a new baseball field this offseason. It's right on the.
Well, Parker has also always been one where I'm like, I'm not going
Parker's
to
one.
mess
I don't
with
know
it.
where I should park.
In the underground lot. That is
Well,
the
that too,
only
yeah.
safe spot now. That is why they developed the underground lot. Dingers?
Definitely.
Do we have enough for a segment?
Yeah.
Definitely.
They're in there.
All right, so Dave, you start with the dingers. Bodie, you can clean up whatever is left over. Should Dave not get through all of them? Fire away, Dave.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight one last quick pitcher before we went to the dingers. Jack Clark, University City. He's a lefty pitcher that absolutely carves up hitters, man. He is an uncommitted junior at this point, but in my opinion, going to be one of the next local players to get taken off the board. Like I said, he can also hit too. He's got a big stick, plays outfield, can run, 3.75 GPA overall. I mean, I just wanted to make sure I highlighted a couple
That's
guys
a new stat we need to start
every
going
week.
with is qualify every kid with their GPA.
Yeah,
Every kid we talk
that's
about.
most impressive to me because of how and this is just
Bodie, get on it. As our stats and research department, get on it.
it's just an overall quality kid, man. These kids need to be highlighted.
I did like when we had Kalen Applefield on
Yeah,
the
that
show.
was a good interview, for sure.
But he's going to Cal, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm genuinely interested in history and can hold a conversation about.
Totally.
You realize that some of these kids, in addition to being elite at their sports, also do spend a lot of time studying and are very, very smart.
Exactly. So I just wanted to highlight him. Every week I'm going to, bring about a couple players that in San Diego are either committed or uncommitted and just deserve a shout out outside of the normal, kind of shout outs we give. So dinger time. We've only had guys with about 30 at bats. So maybe the most dingers we have is 3 in the county. It goes to Armin Robles. He's at San Ysidro. He's an outfield catcher. And then the rest of the guys in the county are sitting at 2. I'll highlight some of them. Andres Johnson, San Ysidro. Jack Circuit. He's got 2 bombs. I think he hit 2 against.
Yeah, they were in the same game the other.
RB, right?
Yeah, RB the other night.
Yeah, so that was a big game for him. Like you said, Nathan Bembenek, he's on the list. We've got Noah Batanko. He's the catcher, third baseman at Eastlake. He's at 2. Fernando Soria, Southwest EC. Brett Williams, San Marcos also have 2. So I said, we're going to need to play some more games to get this list, get some separation in this list. But as of right now, we've got a lot of guys that are hitting dingers. Ryan Baker at Claremont has 1. Scott Sullivan also hit 1 for the Claremont. What is there? The
Chieftains.
The Chieftains. I can picture their orange and blue.
Yep.
How long is that going to last?
Right?
Yeah, maybe not all that long.
And I'll highlight one more guy here. I'll give a shout out
Claremont Tigers.
Well,
we just had it. We just had it. We'll let that name sit, and then I will go into my sideways anecdote. We just had this happen with the elementary school that's right down the street from the studio. It used to be Lindbergh Schweitzer, but Charles Lindbergh, I don't know how much people do or don't know about him, but may have endorsed a certain ideological belief that rhymes with the game Yahtzee. And so he has been scrubbed from stuff, and it just, like, it went under construction last summer, and it came out as Canyon Hills Middle School. And I just thought that was funny, given that Canyon Hills is also the high school that they went with. It's just like, oh, Canyon and Hills. This seems like we can do it for everything. Right. Let's just pick.
It's going to be like Mesa and Valley.
Yeah, it's going to be, let's pick nearby geographical features. So there's going to be high schools that are just like street sign and lamppost high school, parking lot and ocean.
Should we say the same for Steel Canyon? Because that's where Caleb and Trankin went to school. I didn't get to say that.
What's the steel part? Is there iron stuff that goes on out there?
I don't know. Must be all the.
Because I would have said it would have been like Rock Valley or something like that, or Rock Canyon,
right? All right, man. I'm done with all my dingers. Hey, keep hitting dingers, but stop bringing the rain, people. All right.
Yeah, not too many missed there. We've talked about Kalen Applefield, huge start to the year. Adiel Torres from Bonita Vista also with 2. I mentioned Kevin Takuchi with 2. So I think once we get in a full week of non-rainouts, we'll see this list explode here. But so far, not too many, and it's understandable. A lot of these guys on this list are not even at 20 plate appearances yet. So,
deal.
I'm excited for the day that eventually, when technology gets to the point where we have, it accessible at every field. Now we're going to be looking at when someone hits a dinger, we can see the distance too. So there's going to be eventually.
Well, whoever is doing all these game changer cameras this year,
is
legitimately a game changer.
I know over at Rancho Bernardo, I saw their setup. They've got Rapsodo cameras on either side now.
I'm excited.
So the technology's coming around, and it's
I'm
really
so
exciting.
excited for that, because then we're looking at, all right, this dude he didn't just hit a home run. He hit a ball that went a little further than a normal home run. Those are so much more fun to watch.
And I'll mention one more. Kevin Takuchi hit for the cycle in that first game of the year. So that was a big deal there. So I'm sure
He hit it in order, too, which is badass.
I think they put it in order. I believe.
No!
I believe. Could be wrong there, but I believe I saw the first video that was in the actual order, and it wasn't in traditional order that way.
That'd be pretty impressive.
I think they just organized it for simplicity, but
fair enough. Anything that we missed this week in San Diego high school baseball and or sports in general? Because Bodie, for Scorebook Live, you obviously have stuff always cooking all over the county.
Finished up with state basketball. We only had one team up there, Bonita Vista girls, and they didn't play their best. Unfortunately, they lost in the state title. So hopefully next year, boys and girls side, hopefully get some better luck in the seedings and the brackets, because it didn't seem like San Diego had a fair shake this year. So basketball's over. We're all into spring sports now.
Spring sports, and also tracking where Achilles Smith Jr. goes to high school. Dave, anything else?
I'm just excited that a lot of the Padres players that are in the WBC get to come back to the team now.
And not
healthy.
Not be injured post game.
Oh my goodness. What a fun WC to watch. I mean, WBC. But, man, it's stressful. If you're a real fan of your team and not your country as much, it is stressful because, boy, I would love to see the tournament played at a little bit different time of year, but it is such an exciting time. They need to bring it back to Petco. I remember when I went to Petco.
Hell yeah.
It was so fun. I mean, it was just buzzing. It was just a constant buzz. So hopefully high school baseball, we see you guys all out there just buzzing at games this year, man.
Yeah, the first high school baseball team that shows up like Team Taiwan with a mascot dancing on top of their dugout and cheerleaders, I'm in. We'll be
Some
there.
vuvuzelas.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Playing a little Bad Bunny in the background. All right, man.
On that note, we will say adios. Talk to you guys next week.